Well, good morning or good evening, YouTube. This episode of Raven Blaze is brought to you by Pepsi. Not actually. Actually, I rarely even drink pop. But when I do, it's Pepsi. Because I'm a Pepsi girl. Anyway, this video is dedicated to one of my subscribers who asked the question, what are your views on the modern American medical system and how doctors go severely into debt? And basically how doctors are treated in America in general. Number one, great question, Silverwolf. And yeah, my answer, I think it's crap. The sheer fact that a family doctor, a general practitioner, is quintessentially a server, a waitress, or waiter. They get paid, in the modern American medical system, they get paid by the number of people they see. They will only get reimbursed a certain amount by Medicare and Medicaid, which are the two leading funding factors to most of the American healthcare system. They only get paid a certain amount per patient and per test, and so a patient's not able to get the real care that they need. The patient is not able to get nutritional counseling, which could actually solve quite a bit of the diabetes and the heart disease in America if people would just get even a slightly better diet, eat slightly less prepackaged food, and drink slightly less pop, or soda, or Coke, depending on where you live. But hey, I live in Ohio, it's pop. Anyway, moving on from that, I think it is utterly stupid that the United States spends billions of dollars on bombs when, for the cost of one bomb, or probably even a little bit less than one bomb, you could pay for medical school for one doctor for their entire length of their medical school for all 4 years. Hell, for the price of one bomb, depending on what kind of bomb they're buying, you could buy a doctor and either a nurse's assistant, a nurse's aide, or maybe even a licensed practical nurse, an LPN. And I think that's utterly stupid. From what I understand of some of the other healthcare systems, a number of other doctors, depending on what they do and depending on where they're at, they actually get paid a salary. Up at the Cleveland Clinic here in Ohio, the doctors actually get paid a steady salary. Most of them are probably somewhere around middle class to upper class, depending on what they actually do as far as their specialty or field. An ER doctor, in general, I would think gets paid a salary, but the thing is that one of the things that the United States is short on is primary care physicians, and part of that is because primary care physicians are forced into that waiter-waitress system. They don't get paid. Their practice can't pay the bills unless they turn over and turn over and turn over, move the tables, move the patients, which is utterly wrong. To sit down and have a 15-minute conversation, start to finish, with your doctor is essential. I mean, so many health situations where people wind up in the ER, the emergency room, could be avoided if they were just taken care of by a primary care physician, if that person had been able to afford, let alone get the proper time with a primary care physician. Beyond this, you have people like me who buy their own health insurance, and that health insurance is crap. I have seen a doctor. I've only had a full checkup. I mean, blood work and whatnot, once since my junior year of college, because I was just before the Obama healthcare plan kicked in, and you could stay on your parents' health insurance till you were 26. I was 23 when I got off my parents' insurance and started buying my own. And the only one time when I've actually seen a doctor on my own accord was when I actually had a job where they actually paid, where I didn't have to pay out the ear for my health insurance. I actually had relatively decent health insurance. but that was through a company that I didn't particularly care to work for. So, you can hear my noisy neighbors outside. The American medical system is so fucked up. Now, from what I understand, the Canadian system, the system in the UK, they have their pros and their cons. I mean, you gotta give America credit that when it comes to doctors, we got really good ones, and we got really good facilities. And one of the big major fears of the the medical system switching over to something like a Canadian system or something like a system in the UK is that the care would be rationed, and that it would take forever to get the medical care that somebody needs. A good friend of mine has two artificial knees. And from what this friend of mine says about the Canadian system or the system in the UK, that she would have to wait quite a long time if her knee was to ever fail in order to get a new knee. So that's my view of the American medical system. It's crap, and it makes me want to slam my head against a wall to think that the United States spends more money on bombs than it does on doctors. And especially the future of America, because here in the United States, just after World War II, Grandpa came home with a boner, and Grandma was ready. If you know what I'm saying, wink wink, nudge nudge. The baby boomer generation happened, and the baby boomers are at retirement age now. And we need doctors to help them stay alive. And furthermore, we're going to need doctors for at least, well, until my generation, Ys and millennials, until we die off. Because the baby boomers were a large birth cohort. I'm almost quoting one of my sociology professors right now, or one of my professors back in college. The baby boomer generation was a very large birth cohort. And to think, yeah, there wasn't a one-to-one replacement ratio among baby boomers, but because there were so many baby boomers, there are so many people of my generation, Generation Y and the millennials, like me. So we are going to need a massive amount of doctors and nurses and medical professionals in general, but especially primary care physicians and nurse practitioners and RNs, registered nurses, and LPNs, licensed practical nurses, well into the future. So that's my opinion about the American medical system. Peace out, YouTubes.